We're back. We're back in the lockdown void, making lockdown videos. Not for long though, hopefully, because I should be back in the gym soon and making actual proper videos with proper techniques and other human beings. If you're in the Middle England area, or in England in general, or if you're traveling to England for any reason, COVID safely, please hit me up. Anyone is always welcome at our gym to train for free. Don't care what affiliate or what level, just come play. We are very accommodating. Secondly, if you want me to come visit you, if you can't get to England, let me know. I'll see what I can arrange. Maybe. Who knows? We should be recording some decent videos. Hopefully I'll get Naki back and we can actually make some decent videos in the gym. Please send me ideas on the Discord, on comments, on social media, wherever you can find me. If you have anything you want to know, if you want me to go through, I'll happily consider it. Other things I'm looking into are recording the classes that I do in the gym. So if you have any interest in those, they should be available. They may be on the Patreon. Unsure. I'm considering things. But I'm also looking at recording the one-to-one classes that I do. So the private sessions, they'll be also recorded. I get some decent ideas out in those things. So if anyone's got an interest in those, they'll be along with the classes. So a lot of the stuff that I make on these videos is through conversation, especially with white belts, because it makes me kind of reevaluate how I explain things. And this one is after a conversation with one of my white belts, just about guard and like progressing his guard game. And so the topic of this video then I'm going to call the ladder. And it's just a basic way of explaining guard to white belts so that they can then kind of progress with and not be completely lost. If you get any benefit out of this, that's brilliant. Let me know. So the ladder. If you're to break down the reason we have guard, what defines Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, compared to something like wrestling or why don't we just bridge and stuff like that. So the person on top gets the natural attributes of gravity and mobility. They can move around more freely because they're on their feet, and they can use gravity because they're the person on top. You can't use those two things if you're on your back, underneath someone. You're not as mobile, and gravity doesn't work upwards. Not yet. So we have to try and even the fight, because otherwise it's just your two hands versus them. So you try and bring your legs into the fight and double your weapons. So now you've got, instead of two, you've got four. And one of the defining characteristics of a higher level person in Jiu-Jitsu is leg dexterity. If you can improve your leg dexterity, not just in guard, but other places on your back or on top with footwork, you're considered a higher level person in Jiu-Jitsu. I remember Masagao saying to me one of the defining characteristics that he has for giving someone a purple belt is if they can use their feet like hands. And that is one thing I've actually noticed of high level people. Anyway, that's what guard is. We're trying to increase our weapon load to try and even out the score. So how do we then use it? So the first thing of guard is to defend ourselves. So like in boxing, when you bring your hands up to cover your chin, you are trying to defend yourself. So open guard should be the first guard you ever learn, and learn to use it well and move around, and we'll have videos on that, or just watch anything by Preet revolving around grilled chicken. The second part then is to control the other person's mobility mentally, then physically. So what do I mean by that? Mentally, I'm trying to stop them moving as freely as they would as if I was lying down. So if I was just lying on my back with my legs on the floor, like facing them, like just legs crossed like I was lying there, that's not an open guard. Yet the second I bring my legs towards my head and like my feet towards their face, that is an open guard. The difference there is that my legs are offering intimidation towards them. They can't move as freely because an innate part of their brain says, don't move as fast, you'll get kicked in the face. It's not going to happen in Jiu-Jitsu, well, shouldn't, but yeah, that is a genetic part of us that we think, I don't want to move there, it's going to hurt. So I've automatically, just by bringing my feet closer to my head, I've controlled them mentally. I'm also defending my upper body with my knees, keeping them close to my armpits. So the landing space that they wanted to actually get control of me is gone, limited. And wherever they go, I want my feet to point towards them, and I want to keep them south of my knees. If you ever get to watch Christian Graugart's G-spot passing class, brilliant. It like really defined how I looked at guard very early on. Again, it's easy to show this on the video, but it's pretty much just the kneecap. If you can keep someone south of your kneecap, they are going to have a real tough time passing your guard. Every guard pass involves getting above the kneecap. If you feel anyone touching above your kneecap, your guard is in the process of being passed. Do not let it on above your knee. So the first part of guard, defend yourself by keeping them south of your knees. Second part is to control them mentally by making sure they can't move as freely, by using your feet as intimidation. And then it's physical control, and that's then the 5 points of control. So I'm going to try and physically control them with the 4 weapons that I have, 2 arms and 2 legs, by going for the 5 wrestling, grappling control points: behind the head, 2 armpits, or 2 knees. And pretty much every guard kind of falls into that category. Even like stuff like spider, when you grab and hold the sleeves and it's like putting pressure into like the biceps and stuff, you're still controlling those kind of areas. But close guard, you're in between the hips and armpits. Half guard, you're behind their knee. Butterfly, you're behind 2 knees. Del Hiva, you're behind a knee. You're always controlling those spaces. And the more those spaces you control, the better your guard actually is. So it's always just a numbers game. Like whenever I'm playing guard, I'm just trying to build my number up to 5, or as close as damn it. Because if I get closer to 5, I know I've got full control over them. Like 3's good, 4's better, 5, they're going to have a real hard time. Their ability to pass is based on how much they can lower that number. If they can't pass on a 5, like if they have 5 points of control over them, they're gone. 3, very unlikely. 2, starting to get there. 1, yeah, there's a pass imminently happening, especially if they can get above my knee. So going back to this whole idea of the ladder, first thing I want a white belt to have is defending their upper body with their knees. That they're on rung 1 of the ladder, they do not move off that part. And then they start to test going into rung 2, second step of the ladder. That is the mental control, making sure they're following, their feet is pointing towards them, and they're keeping them south of their shins. Part 3 then is the 5 points of control, try and climb up those various control points. Part 4, sweep or submit. At no point do I want them, especially like early on, like this helps define guard. They can kind of step out of it a little bit as they get better, but to help understand the use of guard and a good progression system, like this seems to help. Step 4, sweep or submission. As they're testing the waters for the next part, I don't want them to drop down off the ladder. I don't want them to fall off the ladder. Like take a step down if needed, take another step down if needed. And I think that's a really important part, especially when you start looking at people who get the control points, like get 1 or something, or get like a closed guard, and everything's on to fall apart, and they know their guard's kind of falling apart. Yet they hold on to it for dear life, or they take like Hail Mary kind of sweeps or submissions. You should always be able to go back to the next round down the ladder. So if you're to like be losing your 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 points of control, fine. Step back to mental control. If you've lost mental control, fine. Go back to just defending your upper body, okay? Because anything else, and you've been passed in life, now gets hard. You're trying to keep yourself up the ladder. Do not fall off the ladder. And so the worst thing you can do is like go for a submission or something, and with that, not have that kind of risk in your head that I'm kind of maybe giving up these control points and maybe giving up all these other things. It is a calculated risk. What's my chance of this succeeding? If it's not a high chance of it succeeding, I shouldn't. I should play the ladder. I don't want to fall off the ladder, because then I'm just being passed and my life becomes difficult, because now it's 2 weapons versus mobility and gravity. So So something to take away from this then is separate what your guard is, like build it up in this way. Number one part of guard is always and should like never fail from defending your upper body and keeping them south of your feet. Step two, mental control over them. Follow them with your feet. Make it so they can't move as freely. Step three, physical control. 5 points on them. Head, 2 knees, 2 armpits. Get as many numbers as you can. Part 4, sweep or submission. Do not fall off the ladder. Take a step down if needed. Calculated steps down. Don't step too far. But do not fall off the ladder. Know where the next step is underneath you if you need to step down to it. Don't just go, huh, and think you're holding on to that one round too long and then just lose everything. You can tell I may work for the fire service with this one, and ladders are part of my daily life. Let me know what you think of that. Again, higher belts, you know, your risk maxims change. Lower belts, this helps explain how you should be looking at your guard so you don't end up with that kind of atypical white belt holding on for closed guard for dear life. If someone postures in my closed guard, I actually just release my ankles. I'll do a little bit on that kind of short and long guards when I get back in the gym with Naki, but until then, be curious about this idea. I hope that's made some sense to you. If you have any questions or comments on it, please stick them in this video or go join the Discord channel. And thank you for your time.